This is the plaintiff, Raymond Thompson. He says he moved out of the defendant's apartment, did a walkthrough with him, and was told there were no issues with the condition of the apartment. A few days later, he got a letter stating he would not be getting his security back due to all the damages to the place. He couldn't believe his eyes. The guy actually accused him of leaving chicken bones in the rooms, and this is nothing more than an attempted landlord scam. He's taking legal action here and now and is suing for the return of his hard-earned $1,000. This is the defendant, William Frierson Jr. He says the plaintiff must be blind or something because the apartment was left in deplorable condition. That's right, half-eaten chicken bones strewn about, broken window, damaged sink, and even unidentifiable debris in the toilet. Oh, him security? Hardy har har. He's accused of lackadaisical landlording.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff says the landlord walked through the apartment with him when he moved out, and now he's withholding the guy's security, saying that there were chicken bones all around the place. But the defendant says, yeah, there were chicken bones. It's the case of, you clucked me.
Okay, Raymond Thompson, you are suing William Frierson?
Yes.
Your landlord, former landlord, for $1,000 security deposit that you say he wrongfully refuses to return to you. Tell me what's going on.
Your Honor, I was referred to Mr. Frierson by a friend of mine who worked for me doing asbestos. I got his
Worked for you doing what?
Asbestos. I'm a asbestos supervisor licensed by the state of Pennsylvania to deal with environmental
And the
affairs.
person was an employee of yours?
Yes, he worked with me.
Okay, and so he told you that the defendant had an available apartment. You rented it. You were there how long?
1 year.
1 year. And so your lease ended when?
March the 30th of 20.
That was the end of the lease?
Yes.
Can I see your lease?
No, I didn't get a copy of it back.
Okay, do you have a copy of the lease agreement?
No, I don't, Your Honor.
Nobody has a copy of the lease agreement?
Unbelievable.
Wow, okay. So when it's time for you to leave, is there a walkthrough?
Yes.
And did he say anything at the walkthrough of what was wrong with the apartment?
He said it was fair. Those were his words.
You said, how's it look to you? And he said, fair.
Fair, yeah. Now, mind you, while he's doing the walkthrough, because he has to rush to get back to work, I'm writing on a piece of paper the forwarding address for him to send the check to. Because he said, give me an address to send the money to.
Okay.
So I got the letter, and I tell him that I'm reading this letter, and you're saying all these damages that...
So he claims in the letter that he sends to you that your deposit's all eaten up.
Yeah, and one other thing...
You can send him $40.
Right.
What's going on? Why are you keeping the guy's deposit besides that you want to?
Oh, one other thing, Your Honor.
No, wait. Go ahead.
I legitimately kept his deposit. There were damages to the apartment. I'm not making them up. He left it.
Did you mention them during the walkthrough?
That's one of the things I need to mention. There was never a walkthrough with myself and Raymond. That's number one.
Wait, what does that mean?
There was...
you never looked at the apartment while he's handing you his forwarding address, or you're just not calling that a walkthrough?
No. I had to write him to give me the forwarding address.
Okay, let's talk about the damage. That's really what this is about. So what I want to understand is how is it you get to $1,000? I see receipts for some things, but not receipts for others. So tell me what was wrong. How did he leave the place? Do you have pictures?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I don't have all of them, but that just gives you a little flavor of how things were.
Well, you got to have all the ones that account for you trying to keep $1,000.
Sure, absolutely.
What is this here?
That's where he drug furniture across the floor and left a deep scratches in one of the bedrooms, in the rearmost bedroom. That's a picture of the greasy,
dirty oven.
Yeah,
for sure.
And the top.
Yeah, that's filthy. It is dirty. Not $1,000 dirty, but it is kind of gross.
Yeah, I don't even cook, Your Honor. I don't even know how to cook.
Well, honey,
so I hardly ever use my grill.
Sweetheart, somebody has been cooking in there. Show him those two pictures. Don't be silly. That's full of grease.
That's a receipt right there from the movers right there in the company.
Wait. First, I want to know what my lion eyes are showing me in the incredibly dirty cooktop that you don't cook on.
This is not how that
And you didn't clean the fridge either. I mean, these are not, we're talking about small potatoes, but I'm just kind of gives me a chuckle. What is this a picture
That
of?
is a chicken bone.
Oh, that's a chicken bone?
Yes.
Okay.
That is a chicken
now,
bone.
you say full of chicken bones. I thought it was Santeria voodoo. Okay? I thought it was some island voodoo going on, you know. As a Cuban, that's what it is, one chicken bone that was discarded there. That's what you're referring to? Full of chicken bones?
Your Honor, how many chicken bones are there supposed to be on the floor?
I don't know. I just don't know that one chicken bone is one chicken bone too many on the floor, but one chicken bone is not full of chicken bones.
Well, I don't remember saying full of, okay. I'll make that concession. I just don't, it's not custom.
The chicken bone?
Yeah.
Did you think it's his chicken bone? He brought it in?
It's a chicken bone.
Do you eat chicken on the bone? What is this a picture of? Tell me.
That sash, that top sash would not stay in place. It was
Okay.
damaged and that window had to be replaced.
Okay, but how is that his fault?
The window was in new condition when he occupied the unit. And if it hadn't been, there was a place in our contract that he accepted the apartment as is, except for any damages that he noted, and there was nothing noted.
Well, then let me see that lease that says that.
In addition, yeah.
What do you bother getting it in writing for, if not for me? How does this happen?
Okay, so you live in an apartment and you're moving out and you know your security's on the line. How do you protect yourself from the landlord saying, I'm going to withhold half your security or all your security? What do?
I guess you just have to take pictures, you know, of like all of your belongings and what the apartment looks like before you leave, so that way you have something.
Fair point. You take pictures, but the problem is that the landlord could say, well, those pictures were taken before you did the damage. You don't know when it was taken. What do you do to prove that?
You really need to make sure that you have a relative that owns the place, someone that you can trust to make sure that your security deposit is going to be safe.
Fair enough. If you don't have a relative who owns an apartment building, what do you do to prove that you took those pictures on the day you moved out of the place?
I'm very good at persuasion, and I would persuade my landlord that if he were to take my security deposit, bad things would happen.
Okay. Going inside the courtroom.
Did you sign a lease that said that everything was in tip-top shape when you accepted it?
No, I did not.
Oh, watch that.
No, I did not. In addition to that, I have a text here that he sent me. I sent to him, and he responded. On the 9th, when I got the letter, I read it. I called him. He never answered. I texted him, good afternoon, William. I need to see these damages if they are as you say. I will do all repairs within 24 hours if they exist. Thank you in advance, Raymond Thompson. He never responded to me. Never. He wouldn't even let me see what he said was there.
But now you hired his handyman to do some repairs, correct?
Yes. Well, when I first moved in, he referred the handyman who mounted the televisions on the wall in all 3 rooms and the shelves that holds the DVD players and stuff.
Okay.
And I lost his number, so I called him and got his number back from him.
And you
again.
called him in order to do what? Patch up those holes?
Did
you
take
pay
it all
him?
down? Yes, I did. I have receipts
May
here.
I see the receipt?
I took he took everything down, and he patched all the holes and everything, and he also fixed the bracket.
What did he charge you for that?
$150.
Is Pablo the guy who you paid the $150 to?
Yes.
Where's Pablo? Why can't Pablo be here? Pablo's your handyman. Why didn't you bring Pablo so I could hear about how horrible the place looked and that it didn't look like that before he moved in, and that there wasn't this damage on the floor before he moved in?
Unfortunately, he speaks little English.
What's Pablo speak? ¿Español?
Español.
Porque yo hablo perfectamente bien el español y yo no hubiese tenido ningún problema comunicándome con Pablo.
Yeah, Pablo Poquito hablemos inglés.
Oh, Mr. Frierson, here's the problem that we have, okay? When you're a landlord and you want to pin on a tenant damages that you claim they did, you have to be able to prove it. You've got, according to you, you've got the excellent proof. Just trust me, Judge. I've got a lease that says that the place was in tip-top shape and there was nothing wrong with it. Do you know how many cases, you think you're my first rodeo? Do you know how many cases I've had where a landlord just shows me that and it's over? Goodbye, sir. That's it. You can't claim this stuff was there beforehand because you signed a lease that said it was perfect. All you had to do was show me that lease and you don't have it. It's wild. And then All you have to do is bring me Pablo so I can talk to Pablo, and Pablo can establish me, because Pablo's like the one constant who could call one of you a liar, you know, who could say, I mean, because I see he paid Pablo to close up holes, and that yet you've got a receipt for Pablo, supposedly, for $300 for closing up holes that he already paid him $100 for closing up holes. I got a bad feeling. You know the only thing that I buy the cleaning fee. I'm going to deduct $150 from the $1,000 and order you to pay that man back $850. That is my judgment.
All right, both sides, hold on, please.
Was the old clean and milk. The judge says you cleaned for $150, which she credits you for, and then you tried to milk it.
The judge also said if I had showed her the contract, which stated he accepted the apartment as is, we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
And so you showed it to her. No, you don't have it. Why did you bring Pablo? You don't know that Judge Emilian habla español? You didn't know that?
Me know now.
Yeah,
I
you know now.
Yeah.
Okay. Head right down this way. Okay. Okay. All right. So step in here. You were able to prove what you needed to prove, which was that you paid the security deposit.
Yes, I definitely
All right.
did.
You satisfied how this comes out?
Very much so.
What do you think? Do you agree that he tried to milk this for more than it's worth?
Oh, for sure.
But there was some damage left behind. Or some
very,
cleaning?
very minimum. And $150, I want to say $50 worth of damages and a $100 tip. So actually, he still got a tip in the end.
Harvey?
Okay, you take pictures when you move in, you take pictures when you move out, and you show some kind of a date stamp, maybe a newspaper with a date showing exactly when those photos were snapped.